Hello everybody, happy Saturday night. Hope everybody is having a really good weekend and everybody is staying safe. I stayed right here at home yesterday and I must say it was one of the least eventful July 4th I've had in, I can't even remember the last time a July 4th was that uneventful. But John did not feel good. So it was just me and the animals. Our neighbors put on a heck of a fireworks show. I was out there until almost 11:30 watching fireworks. They put off such a good show, so had so much fun doing that, and then just watched my shows all day, and of course watched Love Island. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of it all. I posted a TikTok that went just a wee bit viral, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into all of it. So grab a snack, grab something to drink. If you're going out tonight, get ready with me. We're going to get ready together. I'm going nowhere tonight. Tonight is Saturday, which means that it's filming night for me. My lashes are still holding on strong since I did them on, what was that, Tuesday? I did them with you guys, so they're still doing really, really good. I do have a pimple that's coming up right here. It is just a hormonal pimple because I just ended my period. So we do have a hormonal pimple, and then of course I did do my nails. I've shared with you guys where I get my nails from. They are on Amazon. If you just search tapered square, I think what I actually search on Amazon is multiple colored pack long tapered square nails, something like that. But this is the brand. Well, that one doesn't have the brand on it. This one does. Galactic is where I get them from on Amazon. These are the coffin shape. These are the long tapered squares. These are the stilettos. And then I also order another brand, which is right here. And these are more of like the medium length tapered square nails. And they're all nudes. So like this is an example of one of the nudes. And they're really thick. All the ones that I get are really good, thick quality. So I really, really like them. And they're super long lasting as long as you prep your nails correctly. So anyways, tonight is filming night. I'm filming a story time. If you missed last week's video, it was really good. It was a story I hadn't heard of, John hadn't heard of. It was really, really good. True crime story. Hi, Bree. It is the Jennifer Pan murder case. So if you have not heard of that story, bitch, it was something. Okay, it was something. And that went live this past Tuesday. So if you haven't seen it, go watch that. But we're filming a story time tonight, so I need to get ready. I'm filming this kind of later. I like to film later in the day. Number one, in my filming studio, it gets extremely, extremely hot. Number two, we are in July and Tennessee, so it is even more hot. And number three, I have a bunch of studio lighting, which makes it even hotter. So I like to wait until later in the day when it starts to cool off before I film my videos. Otherwise, it's just absolutely unbearable, and I have to have multiple fans running, and you guys can't hear in the videos, and so on and so forth. So let me grab a couple of things really quick that I need. I'm going to actually move this fan, which hopefully you guys can hear fine with that fan, because I'm going to need it to just kind of cool down the room really quick, because again, it does get really, really hot in this studio. Now, we do have some fun new products. I went off of a lot of your guys' recommendations, and if you guys got ready with me the other day, then you guys know I tried a bunch of them, and I love. I found some really, really good products. So let's fasten our seatbelts. Let's get a drink, a snack, if you're going out tonight, let's get ready. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to take a sip to drink really quick. And I'm going to start by prepping the skin. I'm going to start out with the Drunk Elephant Proteiny Polypeptide Cream. I really, yay, Erin! I really love this stuff, you guys. And I'm never going to recommend a product that is not good. This one is super expensive, I'm going to be honest. However, Proteiny Polypeptide is really, really good for discoloration in skin. So if you have age spots, dark spots, rosacea, Proteiny Peptide is going to be really, really, really good for your skin. However, if you're paying less than, I would say, $30 for a Proteiny Polypeptide, it probably isn't 100% proteiny. So just make sure you do your research before you purchase it. But I really do love this. However, if I'm being honest, I probably will go back to my Shiseido once this one runs out. I did just buy this one, so I'm going to use it until I use all of it. I am going to mix in with that a little bit of my Nimya License to Glow Serum. This is Nikki Tutorials brand. You guys know I've been using this for years, and I highly recommend it. Again, this is going to be another one that is going to be good for combination to dry skin. If you're super duper oily, I might stay away from this serum, but it's not 100% oil based, but you can definitely feel a little bit of oil in this serum. So if you are really, really oily, I might stay away from it, but dry to combination, this is going to be a miracle worker for you. It's just going to add a bunch of hydration into your skin, which is what you want, especially this time of year, because what we want is moisturized. And this is another thing that gets confused a lot. People think that moisturized and oily is the same thing, and it's not. Everyone needs to moisturize their skin, regardless of whether you're oily or dry. You still need to moisturize your skin. What I will say is this, is if you are oily, you want it to be a lotion base, basically. Serum. You want it to be more lotiony or gel-like. You don't want to go towards with any type of oil, or if it does have an oil, you want it to be a very light oil. So that's why I say, I think even if you are oily, the Nimya serum will still work really, really well for you. So now I'm going to go in with primers. I'm going to start with the Nimya Where It All Starts cream. This, obviously, as you can see, this is my third purchase of this. And it's just a tried and true. It just really moisturizes the skin. It does have a little bit of tackiness, but not enough for me. So I'm going to show you guys a drugstore product that I have now tried on a bride, and it is beautiful. I'm so excited to share it with you guys who weren't in the live the other day when I tried it for the first time. I'm going to now just mix in a little bit of the Becca Backlight primer. This is just like MAC Strobe Cream, except it's more of a skin tone shade instead of like MAC Strobe Cream is like literally silver. Becca Cosmetics, as you know, is no longer a thing, but you can still find this on Amazon. And then I've also heard a bunch of you guys say that you can also find it in like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Ross, places like that. So really, really beautiful. Not only primer, again, it's a moisturizing primer, so it's going to add a lot of really pretty glow to the skin just with that moisturizer base, but also, hold on, there's something, there we go. It adds that moisture, but it also adds a really beautiful glow which I like a little bit more than the MAC Strobe Cream. The MAC Strobe Cream is just a little bit too drying for me. Not matte, so, you know, we all love a good mattifying primer. It's not matte, it's just dry. It just makes your skin feel really, really chalky, and it's not my cup of tea. This is where the skin is looking right now, really, really nice. I am going to add really quickly before I show you guys my new favorite primer. I am going to add just a little bit of the Benefit Professional Primer just on my T-zone. As you can see, I have a little hormonal zit popping up. It hasn't fully popped up quite yet, but I'm just going to add just a nice filter to the T-zone. And this is my favorite pore filling primer of all time. I do like to just kind of go in with my hands, because I do feel like this one does really blend in really nicely with the hands, and then we'll just kind of Alright, now that we are good and primed, I'm going to share with you guys my favorite primer of all so far this year. This is so good, and it's from the drugstore. This is the Maybelline Grippy Serum Primer with niacinamide. It's got 24-hour staying capacity, and you guys, this stuff is a dream. I'm going to be really honest. Regardless of your skin type, this is going to work well. It's going to work well with our dry skin girlies. It's going to work really well with our oily skin girlies because it's a gel. So that's what you're going to look for in a really good primer, is that gel-like consistency. And that's what this one is. And when I tell you guys that this is grippy primer, y'all, this is grippy. This is more grippy than any primer I've tried in a really, really, really long time. And I really, really have been enjoying it. It's super duper tacky. And it also has that niacinamide in it, so it's adding that glow. And that's what the Milk one is missing. That's also what the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, that's what those are missing, is that there's no niacinamide or vitamin C or anything in it that is really adding that glow. So if you want a really nice glow, plus you want a really nice grippy primer, like when I tell you grip, baby, like grip. This stuff is grippy, very, very tacky primer. Try this one, under $10, Maybelline Grippy Serum. I am obsessed with it. Highly, highly, highly recommend. So now we are good and prepped. I'm just going to give it a second to let that kind of dry down on the skin before we start on brows. And I have another dupe for you guys, and I've been using it now for about a week and a half, so I finally feel good enough to share with you guys this dupe. And when I share this dupe, I want you guys to also know that we're talking about a $22 difference. So as most of you guys know, when it comes to brows, for years I have used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade. I still stand by this product. It is an incredible, long-lasting product, but I have finally found a dupe. It has taken years. Maybelline wasn't a dupe. I've tried so many, you guys, I cannot even tell you guys. The LA Girls option, the Millennial option, all of them. And I finally found a dupe for $2. $2. Have you ever considered microblading? I did it in 2014 or 2015, and I hated it. Absolutely despised it. Mainly because I am one who kind of likes to move my brow around, and also I'm very particular on how full my brows are. Brows shape the face. Brows is really what changes your makeup look the most. It's what changes your face shape the most. So I got it done in like I think it was 2014 I got it done. I could not stand it, and it took years for it to go away. There is still even just a little bit of red tint in my brows, and I have shaved them, everything, and it still, to this day, grows back with a little bit of that microblading tint. I can't. It's not for me, but it is for a lot of people. All right. So again, we're talking about a savings of $22 here, people. I can now officially say that it has really, really good staying power. So we're going to, when I say staying power, I mean you could jump in a pool with it. I mean you could be in the rain with it. I mean you could sweat with it. Now, am I saying that you could jump in the pool or go out in the rain and then rub your eyes like this? Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. It's not a miracle here, people. Anastasia doesn't even do that. You would want to dab your face, obviously, but it does stay in place. And the other night, we actually finally found one of Millie's siblings. If you guys know, we rescued a kitten about 2.5 months ago, and we have tried and tried to find the sibling. We finally found it, and we have tried like hell to catch this thing, and so far, no luck. Doesn't mean that I'm giving up by any means. You guys know me. I'm going to continue to try. But I was out there with a full face of makeup on in Tennessee in the heat. It was 102 degrees, pure humidity, and this did not budge. It did not budge. It didn't run down my face or anything. Now, what I will say is this has a little bit more of a powdery consistency than Anastasia. So Anastasia does have just a little bit more wax than the e.l.f. So if you want the staying power that I'm mentioning, you're going to want to use a setting gel or something to that effect. So I am still using the Anastasia brow gel. It doesn't matter which one you're using, but you're definitely going to want to use some type of brow gel or brow setter in order to get, you know, long staying power, especially if you're going to be jumping in the water or sweating a bunch. But let's go ahead and start these brows. I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Lock On Liner and Brow Cream in the shade Espresso. And you guys, I really, really love it. I do hope that they do change the component, because it doesn't have the lid like Anastasia or even Benefit has with their brow pomades. A lot of pomades have a container that kind of looks like steps on the side so that you can swipe the side of your brush in order to get a nice straight line. This component does not have that. Fun fact, you can use a rag or a paper towel or whatever and just swipe the sides like that to get that nice straight line. But yeah, also I have a new primer on the way from Artist Couture, which I have not ordered from Artist Couture since probably 2018. It was the last time that I had to order one of my favorite highlights of all time. These are by Artist Couture. They are incredibly beautiful. This is in the shade Summer Haze. I have Summer Haze and Diamond Dust are my two favorites, and when I run out, I've always ordered them. But the other day I was on TikTok and scrolling through the lives, and the owner of Artist Couture was on there, and he was having a 4th of July sale, 60% off. So I ordered it. So we'll test that and we'll see what the tea is on that. And I also have a new mic coming, which I'm super duper excited about, especially for my YouTube, because the one that I have here on a boom is good, but it also, if it's not complete silence in here, it will pick up anything within like a 10-foot radius. So I just need something that only picks up like what's directly near me. Yeah, look at that brow. So nice. So obsessed with it. So if you haven't tried the e.l.f. pomade, I'm going to have to say I highly recommend. It's really, really nice. So let's get into the Love Island tea, you guys, because y'all, I have so much to say. We've been through another week since I've been live, and guys, so much has happened since the last time I've been live with y'all. It's actually insane how much has happened, and I find it just so funny that so many people have switched up. Like, most of you guys know, if you've been following me from the beginning, you guys know that I love Huda. I've loved her from the start. That has not, I mean, you can scroll back and watch my very first live or my TikToks when everything started. I've loved her from the beginning. I just think that she moved in a way that was due to her cards that she was dealt. She was with someone who was highly, highly love bombing the shit out of her. And she's also a mother. So people were like, why would you settle so quick? Because, number one, who else was she going to couple up with in that moment? Like, in the start, who does everyone think that she would have coupled up with and it actually be successful? Because I can tell you right now, nobody. She's a mother. She's just going to move in a different way. Moms move in different ways. They don't have time for the buffoonery. They just don't. So, anyways, moving on to now. Now everyone is finally seeing the Mean Girls for who they are. I've been shouting this from the rooftops for weeks, and now finally people are starting to see it. Like, all of that shit, Sierra, like, fully has hated Huda from the beginning. And I mean, all you need to do is just watch an episode to see that. I mean, she literally, quite literally, will soothe Huda and, you know, comfort Huda in one episode, and then in the very next scene, she's talking about Huda like she's a piece of dog shit. And I am so grateful that we finally had America's Vote Night and people finally got to see what is really going on. I feel like this needed to happen, but also at the same time, I think the way that Shelly responded the next day is why a lot of people are now upset with Shelly, because she was just so like, I could care less what America thinks about me, blah, blah, blah. Like, you might just want to watch the way that you talk. I mean, I haven't been voting for you anyways, but I know that Shelly has had a lot of people ride for her, and I'm just saying, like, that's so fucking rude for her to be like, I don't give a fuck what nobody. She's just an asshole. She's just an asshole. And I'm just so happy for Huda. I'm so glad that she's got Chris. She's got somebody that actually is in. Sorry guys, I got a phone call. But I'm just so glad that she's finally with somebody who is treating her the way she deserves to be treated. So happy. Amaya Papai, her and Brian, you guys, what? Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that. The only thing that I'm hoping is that he's not like, oh, well, now we all know that America really fucks with these three because it was Amaya, Alondria, Huda. I'm hoping that he's not like, oh, well, now, you know what I'm saying? Like, the top four was Amaya, Iris, Huda, Alandria. Like, I'm hoping that he's not just like using her for that, but at the same time, like, I can see it, you know what I mean? So I'm really hoping that he's true about his words. I do think Veneers, aka Zach with a K, is only saying what he's saying to Amaya because he now knows where America stands. I just think it's so fucking funny, and obviously now Shelly's gonna tie off with Ace because she sees where America stands. Like, you know. Alright, MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. I'm going to take this on my lid because my lid is very, 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 very oily. And if you have oily lids, MAC Paint Pot is going to be the best because it's a powder. a powder base. So it's going, I mean, it's a liquid, but it's got a powder base to it. So it's quite literally just going to suck up every bit of that oil off of your lid. It is a miracle worker. And there's just not been anything else come out that is better than MAC Paint Pot when it comes to oily ass lids. And we're going to try our best to dance around these lash extensions the best that we can. I cannot find my lash extension cover, so I did order another one, but unfortunately it will not be here until like next Wednesday. So we're just going to have to go with what we got for now. But yeah, I'm really happy with where Love Island is right now, but they need to have movie night. Like, I feel like they're just dragging it on. I am also curious because, guys, movie night is about to be a full-on crash out. I think the two main points where they're actually going to hit is going to be Sierra and Alondria, because obviously Sierra has not seen, you know, how far Alondria actually went with Nick. I also think that that was the real reason why Sierra didn't, you know, that she did stand behind Taylor, you know, because girlhood, y'all, see, that's the thing. All of these bully girls are all about girlhood, friendship, you know, sisterhood. Meanwhile, you got Alondria basically sucking Nick's lip off. Like, baby, his lip was pulled like a full foot away from his face. Then you've got Sierra standing behind Taylor. Babe, it's not giving sisterhood of the traveling pants. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Alondria said, who did she say that to? I want to say she said it to Iris. She was like, you know, it pissed me off that you're supposed to be my best friend and you stood behind Taylor. And she was like, oh, who? And she was like, oh, you know. Babe, how far have you gotten? Bree, I'm going to need you to sit down tonight. I'm going to need you to catch up. They're not together. But when Casa happens, which they do it really early this season. So Casa Amor is already over. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, which I know you don't mind. I'm on episode 8. Bitch, I need you to catch up. I need you to catch up. There's so much to catch you up on. Babe, basically, America is now Team Huda and Amaya. That's the only girls that's really an option at this point. So, yeah, Casa Amor happens, okay? And when Casa Amor happens, the girls go to Casa this year. Guys stay in the villa, okay? Night 1, they do a vote. Alondria gets sent home, and Nick gets sent home. Everybody thinks that they're gone, right? Nay. Nay, bitch. Nick walks to the end of the entrance of the villa, and all of a sudden, a G-Wagon, a Mercedes G-Wagon, pulls up, and it's Alondria, and she tells Nick to get in, and that is how they cut off the episode. And then next episode, it shows Nick and Alondria in like a garden, like so fucking romantic, and Nick gets a text, and it basically says that either Nick and Alondria can couple up and go back to the villa, not Casa, but can go back to the villa, high mints, and be a couple, or they can leave the island. So obviously they choose to try to be a couple, right? Well, long story short, they go back to, after Casa's over, they go back to, you know, everybody basically finds out that Alondria and Nick have been there the whole time. So basically, Sierra didn't know that Nick was gone. Sierra thought that Alondria was gone. So when they walked in together, she just thought, oh, they were saved. No, they were coupled up. And so, you know, she was like, it just makes me feel weird that they even kissed. Like, why would they even explore each other? Which exactly. Like, why did they even have to explore? Like, sorry, not sorry. But that's just something your best friend just wouldn't do. That's what I'm saying. Like, these girls are trying so hard to be something they are not. They are not PPG. They're just not. There's not ever going to be another PPG. There's not. And they're trying so hard to be something that they just do not emulate. Like, PPG would have never set up there on stand on business night and literally bullied someone like they did Huda. They all, in unison, bullied the shit out of her. And not only that, but then Huda told Alondria something in confidence. Just the two of them. And she decided to wait until they got to the fire pit to tell the group of like 25 motherfuckers in the villa what Huda told her, which was that her and Chris kissed in the speakeasy. Which I don't know what Sierra really wanted Huda to do. Was she just expecting for her to come back to the villa and what, just sit there? No, bitch. Get a fucking clue, Sierra. Like, I cannot stand Sierra. I do love Alondria, but it's getting to the point at this time where it's embarrassing. And in the words of my gay best friend, who is also black, he said, she's making the black gay community cannot stand her, because we would never. And it's just facts. Like, what are you doing? It's embarrassing at this point. This man has stood on 10 toes now 3 times and basically said, I want Clark, I want Clark, I want Clark. And you're still like a hound. Like, hing. Like, no, it's just not it. Bree, I'm going to need you to catch, I need you to watch. I need you to spend tomorrow just catching up. There's not an episode of Love Island tonight. So later tonight, watch a few episodes, catch up tomorrow, and buckle your seatbelt, bitch, because you're in for one hell of a ride. Not to mention, on America Vote Night, they sent 5 motherfuckers home. Austin's gone. Jaden's gone, who he was coupled up with, which, to be fair, most of America does not think that this was our votes. So let's just get that out there. But it's not Taylor. Austin's gone. Jaden's gone. Andrina's gone. Grayson's gone. Who was the 5th one? TJ, who was coupled up with Iris, which you might not even know who Iris, TJ, Jaden, you don't know who any of these people are yet, Bree. Most of them came in during Casa, because most of the guys recoupled with Casa. Huda is now with Chris. He was in Casa. He is so fucking hot, dude. He does basketball overseas. He's like fucking 6'6" or 6'7" or some shit. And he stood up there on Stand on Business Night and he was like, I don't have to be here. I could be overseas playing ball, making a bag. I'm here because I like Huda. Period, King. Stand up there and tell all these bitches what is up. Oh my God. It made me horny. I'm not gonna lie. When he stood on business like that, bitch, I was like, stop, because you're about to make this an event, sir. He's so fucking sexy. He is like dark chocolate with like, oh my God. I can't. What do y'all think about Yulissa? So, if you guys have not found her on TikTok yet, I'm going to need you to go find her, because I'm going to need you to understand what I'm about to say. I'm going in with the ABH orange palette. So basically Yulissa, she went on to TikTok. She has a TikTok. And basically was like, it wasn't like what you all think. They didn't pull me out in the middle of the night. She's basically saying that they pulled her out early, or at the end of the night, like before everybody went to bed. Which we know isn't true, because we've seen her go to bed. Unless they just used like another clip, I just don't know how she could lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Love Island's NDAs are like super good, because there's some shit that like Leah said, she basically had to wait a year before she could share like what really went down. Like Leah, and you know, like Leah, she's as pure as they come. And she was like, yeah, like basically with my NDA, I can't like go in the way that I would want to go in until it's been a year. And then boom, they talk our People's Princess into doing this spin-off show, which is supposed to be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. And I cannot fucking wait. I'm so curious to see what really happened with Liv and Kayla, because they are still actively like not friends, you guys. So whatever the issue was, they're still like actively not friends. I do believe that has to do something with Aaron. I don't know why I feel that, but I know that Aaron and Kayla have like a little rendezvous in the spinoff show. I don't know exactly, but just based off of the podcasts that I've seen them on, like Kayla was saying that, you know, they definitely did have like multiple conversations and blah blah blah. So I'm so fucking excited for this spinoff. I'm so curious to see like what happens, because like I said, yeah, they're still not friends. Like Kayla and Liv are still not friends, and they were going strong there after Love Island. Like they were doing like everything together after the show. Like most of their brand deals were together, everything. And then like Liv did not go to Stagecoach. I don't know. So what do you guys think? Also I seen in the like trailer or teaser that Janae and Kenny get into it because Kenny doesn't want to live together yet, which living with someone is a huge commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like you really have to truly like someone to live with them. Living with someone, it brings a whole new vibe to the relationship, because they're going to be different than you. Let's just be honest. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like when you're in a relationship, you live one way, they live another way. Also, you have to think about like whose crib are we moving into, or do we just get a new crib? Like here's my thing. After the situation with my ex, I would never move into a place that wasn't mutually ours. I will never live with someone where it's their place and I'm moving into their place. I would never do that shit again, because it's just too dangerous in today's time and place. Like it just really and truly is. Like you can just really just, these motherfuckers just be out here fucking you like that. Like they really and truly just do not give a fuck, like at all, you guys. So I am curious. I know a lot of people are pissed that Cordell's not in it. I do know that he's in a couple of episodes, but he's also in that like scripted show. He hasn't announced it yet, but I have my assumptions. I think it's a Tyler Perry one, if I'm being honest, just because of like what all is filming right now in Atlanta. I think it's going to be a Tyler Perry movie. I could be wrong. That's just a guess. But a lot of you guys were asking me on Twitter, and I really think it has to do like something with Tyler Perry. Just because of the time that Cordell was filming in Atlanta and the timing that Tyler Perry's new movie was filming. I think he's going to be in that new movie, which makes complete and total sense for him to be in a Tyler Perry film. I'm so excited for Cordell. I'm so excited for PPG. I'm so excited for PPG's men. I'm just so excited. So tonight we have After Sun, and we're going to see Deb. So anybody who's been a fan of Love Island USA, and you really have been like me, you know who Deb is. Deb, oh my gosh, Deb, she was so fucking iconic. She was like Leah #1 before Love Island USA became what it was. Deb was our Leah of Love Island USA. I think she was like she had to be like season 4 or 5. And she was just so fucking iconic. She just did not give a fuck. She really and truly just kind of went with the flow. I can't remember her man's name. They've broken up now, but are still really good friends. But I love me some Deb. So she's going to be on After Sun tonight, along with all 5 Love Island contestants that got dumped from the island on America's Vote Night, which was episode before last. If you didn't see last night's episode, there was a challenge, and I thought it was very fitting. It was Crash Out Challenge. And so basically it was all the guys. They ran through, it started out with one person on one side, and they got to choose just a person to like run through the first part. Like basically you weren't going to kiss the person or not. You didn't have to. And so all the guys chose a person to run through that with, and they ran through this obstacle course where like slime was literally squirted at them, and then they chose a person to make out with in the ball pit. That went really, really well, honestly. I don't think there's anything to really know except this fucking dude, y'all. I just cannot with Alon. I can't. Why is he still talking about Sierra? Like, why is he still, like, at this point, Sierra and Nick have closed things off. I don't like Sierra any more than the next person. But, like, dude, she has clearly now told your ass on multiple occasions. Nick has now confronted your ass on multiple occasions that they're closed off. They're in a relationship. Like, what are you doing, my guy? It's just so weird to me. I just can't. I can't back people continuously when they do shit like that. There's something in my eye. Hold on. Oh, I see it. I just seen it when I looked a certain way. I don't know. Maybe if I get... Yes, bitch. Anyway. I don't know. I just find him weird. Like, he continuously, like, brings up him and Sierra and how they should be in a relationship and this, that, and the third. And I just find that, I don't know. I find it bizarre. I'm not loving it. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not loving it. But he apparently is going to go after Iris. I don't think Iris is going to go for Alon at all. It does seem like she is really liking Pepe right now, which our man has a type, y'all. He does have a type, you know. He loves him a good old blonde. So the literal last blonde in the villa is Iris, and he's going for it. And so many people called it, like, he's going to go for Iris, he's going to go for Iris. Even John said last night, he was like, well, we know who he's going after. And it's like, yeah, you know, he's got a type. By the way, this is the Masquerade mini palette by Juvia's Place, and I'm using the shade Giza. It's Giza. I was about to go in with Chai, which is like this, like, electric purpley blue, but with the shades that I already used, I just don't think that it would be the move, you know. So we're going in with Giza. So the other thing I wanted to talk about on today's live, aside from Love Island was the announcement that Gigi Gorgeous made 2 days ago on Instagram. You guys, I don't know about y'all, but I am blindsided by this one. This is one couple that I really and truly did not see getting a divorce. Like, I really, 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 really did not. And we were in the living room earlier, like, watching the new Squid Game season. And I was like, oh my gosh. And John was like, what? And I was like, which I know he doesn't like know her name. He knows her, like if I show her book, because I have her book, he would know like, oh, okay, Gigi. But I was like, Gigi Gorgeous and Nat Getty are getting a divorce. And it just like shook me, you guys, because they were literally like trying to have children together. Like, they've been going through years of IVF and all this. And the thing is that we have to remember is that that is a really stressful journey to go through for anybody, much less going through that shit publicly. Like, they went through that shit publicly, like where everybody could kind of share their thoughts and opinions on the matter. And I know a lot of people have been like, well, Nats is in recovery, blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily think that that had anything to do with it, unless Nats relapsed, which could be, I think, in my personal opinion, I think that that's really none of our business on why they decided to get a divorce. You know, Gigi shared that they separated back in February. So they've been separated for a while. I mean, almost a half a year. I mean, it's almost been 6 months since they separated. So it's been like a long, long time. I just feel like, you know, we should all just be respectful of them and let them, you know, deal with it on their own. And to all the people that are commenting saying, oh, well, you may change your mind, blah, blah, blah. They've already filed, so I think leaving comments like that is just even more hurtful to Gigi. Because a bunch of you guys were like, Morgan, see what you can find out on this. I did find out that Nats is the one who did file for the divorce. So it was Nats, it was not Gigi who filed. They have been living, according to what I found, now this is based off of People magazine, Gigi moved out in February and has been living with friends, is what I was able to find. Again, just based off of like public interviews, public record. Again, Nats is the one who filed, and he filed back on February 16th, I want to say it was, is when he actually filed. And he did file in the city of Los Angeles County. And yeah, I don't know. It could be that, you know, Nats had to stop testosterone for a while. It could be that Gigi had to stop hormones for a while. I mean, that's, you know, a big issue for someone in their boat. And so, I don't know. It breaks my heart because you guys know I love Gigi. I've supported her for so long. I have all of her books. I have watched every single one of her documentaries. And I will continue to support Gigi and whatever she stands behind. So, I just feel like, you know, everybody hounding on social media, like demanding an answer out of her. That's not right, number one. And number two, that's not going to lead her to go onto YouTube after being off of it a year and uploading a video sharing, you know, why her and Nats decided to get a divorce. I feel like that is going to prevent her from sharing. So I just think we all just need to be patient and remember that they're real people. Even though they shared their relationship on the internet, they are still real human beings. And so, you know, Gigi said in her post, you know, this is something that I never felt that I was going to share. Now, let's move on to another topic that's a little, you know, I mean, not lighthearted, but like, not Gigi. Let's talk about Shannon Rose. So, I have been a follower of Shannon Rose since 2014, I want to say. I followed her back when all of her wedding drama happened. For those of you guys who do not know all of that, there was this YouTuber back in the day named Amber who was quite literally psychotic. Like she done some really shitty shit to a lot of people. And she ended up like allegedly stealing a bunch of checks that Shannon's and Travis's family left for them at their wedding. So you know, like when people get married, you might write them a check instead of giving them a gift. Especially like older people, like older relatives, like your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents, like they typically like write a check and you're like, congratulations, peace out, you know. She ended up stealing allegedly like 40 grand. So Shannon filed a lawsuit and won. That's how a lot of people came to know Shannon Rose. Well, Shannon struggled with IVF and she ended up having babies, okay? And her and Travis went through IVF, all of these things. And, you know, a lot of people related to them because of this. Because, you know, they had went through, you know, IVF and all this shit. And, you know, having trouble having children, a lot of people can relate to that because, you know, in some sense of the word, almost all of us go through childbearing issues. So she ends up having Snow. They go through IVF. I think they had one miscarriage, and then she had Snow, and then she had Storm, her son. And about a week and a half ago, she posted a video saying that she was going to be having another baby via surrogate. I'm going to go in with my Hourglass Vanish stick. I'm going to go in with Laura Mercier and Marc Jacobs. I'm going to mix them all three together. Anyway, so she uploaded this video saying, hey, we found a surrogate, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about Shannon Rose because she has shared her not only parenting on the internet, but also the struggles that she's had, not only with her children, but like other people, even family members, and the way her family members, you know, perceive her parenting style or perceive her children or X, Y, and Z. And so she shared another video. She started a podcast, The Shannon Rose Show, where she had her husband on it. And for the past like year and a half, we learned that Travis got an actual like brick and mortar job. He's no longer, because he used to like help film her videos, help edit her videos, like do all the things. And here recently he got another job. Well, I just constituted that as you know, she wasn't making as much money on the internet anymore, so he had to get another job, which is partially true according to them. But actually he ended up, you know, going for a dream that he's had for a very long time. But it does take quite a bit to be able to accomplish that dream, and that is to become a police officer. And so she uploaded a video that, you know, Travis is a cop. And of course, this is just another video that a lot of people had a lot of negative shit to say about him being a cop. You know how there's just a certain side of the internet that I just will never understand. You know, they hated the man when he was helping her film her videos and was helping her grow her channel. And now they hate the man that he's got an actual brick and mortar 9 to 5. Like, and reading through those comments was just like so disturbing, because what would you have them do? Like, is there no making people happy? And this is what I've learned about sharing your shit on the internet. And this is why I made a decision a long time ago to share me on the internet, and that would be it, regardless of, you know, if God ever did, you know, give me the miracle of becoming a mom. I know that's not in the cards for me, but if that were to ever happen, of course I would want you guys to know, you know, that I'm having a baby, and I would want to share that. And I would want to share, like, milestones, like, oh, it's its first birthday, it's learned to walk, it's riding a bicycle, you know, so on and so forth. I would never, ever, ever put my child or my spouse in the place to where they could then be criticized for the way they dress or the job that they have or so on and so forth. And I feel like this is a big thing, because if you put your children on the internet, you are then, in return, whether you ask for it or not, are giving the internet permission to share their personal opinions on the way that you parent. Whether you say that flat out or not, you are, because you've now shared your children on the internet. You've now shared the way that you parent on the internet. Same with your spouse. If you share your spouse on the internet, and your spouse is not in every bit of your content, and you just share your spouse every now and then, or you're like Shannon and you've done a ton of videos with your spouse, and then all of a sudden your spouse vanishes off the internet, you're then giving the internet the opportunity to comment on your marriage, comment on your spouse, all kinds of things, right? So I think that, and Shannon said in her video, she was like, you know, the reason that we didn't share is because there were so many things that had to be completed before Trav could actually get this position. Like, it wasn't something that happens overnight, which anyone who has a brain cell knows that, like, if you want to be a police officer, there's so many things that you have to do and complete in order to actually be a police officer. Like, it's not something that happens overnight. You have so many different exams you have to pass. You have, like, a physical exam, a driving test. Like, there's so many things that come with being an officer, a police officer. Like, so many things. And so she shares this podcast, and when I tell you, the people on the internet are just so weird to me. Like, I could never imagine being like, what a fucking loser. He's being a cop at whatever age he is. Like, when I was reading those comments, I was like, people are so fucked. Like, this man, literally, people bitched and moaned for years for this man to go out and get a brick and mortar 9-to-5. He goes out, gets a brick and mortar 9-to-5, and now people are pissed that he's a cop. Like, it's so bizarre to me. I just could not imagine. And then some people are like, why would you be a cop? Why would you be a cop? Like, a lot of people want to be a cop. What are you talking about? It's so weird to me. I don't know. It's one thing that I will never be able to stand behind. I just do not get it at all. How people are just so, like, odd to me. It's odd. The brain capacity that some people have is just weird. But there's that. Then we had, what was the other thing that was on my list to talk about? I didn't bring my list in here, but I'm pretty sure. Let's see, we talked about Love Island. Laura Clary and Stephen Helton. Let's talk about it. I did a full-on video about them on TikTok. And here's the thing. So for those of you guys who do not know who Laura Clary is, I'm going in with my LYS bronzing stick in the shade No Limits. Or it's a No Limits in the shade Harmony. Stephen and Laura. So Stephen Hilton is a long-term, he has been doing movies long-term on screen. So he has been a part of like Mission Impossibles and like so many different really cool movies that I found that he's been part of. It's actually really, really cool, the movies that he's been a part of. And he and Laura met around 16 years ago. When they were both in recovery, they met at a mutual friend's party. And they were together and basically inseparable ever since. And Stephen has, and even admittedly relapsed multiple times since they got married. And every time Laura has given him another chance and another opportunity. Well, about 2.5 years ago, Stephen relapsed for the final time as far as Laura's concerned, and she decided to finally get a divorce. There's a lot of questions in the air and also a lot of sealed documents. So a lot of you guys wanted me to do a deep dive, and I just don't feel like now's the right time, number one, because I just think that she needs to get the fuck out of California for a little bit. I think that her living so close to Stephen and her mom about to leave is dangerous. I'm going to be honest. Watching him, I do think he's in psychosis. Just being someone who is in recovery myself and knowing people who have went through psychosis and the way that they behave and the things that they say, I see that a lot in Stephen and the way that he talks, especially on the internet. Like, it's really, really scary. And so, anyways, basically what all started it was that Laura posted a video on her TikTok and Instagram. And it said, you know, I went to a wedding this weekend and I am finally beginning to believe in love again. Like, you know, she's been in a relationship for pretty much, I think she got in a relationship 8 months after her and Stephen divorced or separated rather. And so she's been in a relationship with this guy for a pretty long time. And Stephen knows of this relationship, and she posted that she went to the wedding with him, and, you know, she's believing in love again, and so on and so forth. You know, it's really, really sweet and cute, and I'm happy for her. And so her and Stephen, through this separation and divorce, continuously decided to continue to post content together. Now, I think that that is in a form of manipulation on Stephen's part. I'm pretty sure Stephen probably said, well, you know, I need money for X, Y, and Z, and he is the father of her children. And so, of course, she chose to continue to let him be in her content in order to give him a paycheck, in order for him to be able to continue to care for their kids. So she posted this video on TikTok. It was a really, really cute video of her new relationship and how she went to this wedding and it was really, really nice and blah, blah, blah. And then, boom, the next day, all of Laura's Facebook. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Laura Clary, she plays Pamela Pumpkin. So if you've ever heard that sound, hey y'all, it's Pamela Pumpkin, that is Laura Clary. And she has been on the internet for around 20 years. And she's done a multitude of different characters, all kinds of different things. But she started on Facebook. Everything with her started on Facebook. And it didn't delete at first. So her Facebook didn't delete at first. At first, it was like her Facebook had been hacked. And it was someone posting like really mean, evil, nasty things. Not only commenting mean and evil, nasty things to other people, but also saying mean, evil, nasty things about Stephen. And then people started to put two and two together, including Laura, and say that Stephen had hacked her pages in which in turn he decided to post on his I believe Facebook page. Hold on, you guys, I just dropped a lid. Where did that go, you guys? Gosh. Anyways, he decided to put on his, I believe it was his Facebook page, a screenshot. He also shared this on TikTok, and it was a screenshot of the post on Facebook showing this really shitty post that this hacker had posted on Laura's page. The only problem is, Steven, is if it was, in fact, you taking a picture of Laura's page, why are you signed in as Laura? Like, number one, it says boost insights. You can only see that if it's your profile. Number two, if you look up at the top, it says share what's on your mind, and it's Laura's Facebook. So he literally told on himself. Like, how weird. So then Laura shares on her TikTok and says the truth will prevail. And it's the police there with looking at a bunch of papers. And basically it is allegedly the police looking at the why am I losing my words here? Restraining order that she had put onto Steven, which she put on him because he, of course, came onto her podcast again, giving him somewhere where he can make money. She continued to post content with him against her mother's advice, against her family's advice, against her current partner's advice. She continued to make content with Steven because he is the father of her children. So she wanted him to be able to make a steady income. So, of course, she allowed him to be on her platform. He came on there, and basically Laura was like, listen, if what you told me before this podcast is true, like, you are not going to see the children. And he was like, listen, I am going to continue to use because I want to. Life is short. It's not going to hinder me watching the children. All this, that, and the third. And she was like, okay, well, if you want to continue to use, then you just won't see the children. Like, you can literally choose right now. Like, if you want to go out and use and do whatever you want to do, fine, but like, you're just not going to see your kids. And so that's basically the choice he made, and he decided to argue with the internet for a week or so about how that didn't make any sense, why Laura would take the kids away from him because him using isn't going to hinder him being a dad at all. Okay, let me say something right now as someone in recovery. If you are using, there's a reason why it's called mind-altered substances, or you're in a mind-altered state. It's because you're not yourself when you're on those drugs. And as a mother who is in recovery and sober, I can imagine that she would be standing outside of the house, worried to death that you were going to what? Give the kids a bath or anything, and they could drown or suffocate on or choke on food. Like, I couldn't imagine. So, of course, she gets a restraining order. He acts all shocked. He posts on TikTok, oh, I was supposed to get the kids today. Laura agreed that I could see the kids. And about 10 minutes before they were supposed to arrive here, I get a knock at the door, and it's her best friend, and I'm served with a restraining order. Are you shocked, you dense, stupid motherfucker? You literally came onto the internet and said that you were going to continue to use with your kids there or not. Like, you were going to continue to use. Of course, her as a mother is going to do what she needs to do to protect her kids. I would do the same. Any other mother would do the same. Except for some that we're going to talk about here in a minute that I found on the fucking internet that I have questions about humanity about. That's another one of our topics. But anyways, come to find out, he was the one who hacked her socials. Or is any of us shocked? Because I'm not. And she finally, just the other day, she posted a pod with her mom. And she had finally gotten access back to her Facebook page and recovered the 4.5 years worth of YouTube videos that Stephen had deleted. And so, of course, she did report what he did, because, of course, that is a breach in his, whatchamacallit, restraining order. And she posted a TikTok with her mom, which literally made me cry multiple times, because in the pod, she's just like, you know, I want you to tell me, you know, things that I'm doing great as a mom, where I need to strive to do better at as a mom, blah, blah, blah. And Laura's like, because you were just the best mom, blah, blah, blah. It just broke my heart, you know, to hear her asking her mom that, because of course you're going to feel like such a fucking failure in those moments when you have your crazy ass ex doing the absolute fucking most, allegedly, to ruin, you know, something that you've worked so incredibly hard on. It just really broke my heart watching that podcast. But at the same time as well, it made me like so proud of Laura for standing her ground and doing what she said she was going to do if he continued on. And the thing is like, this is not only affecting Laura, right? You have to remember, like she said a million times, you know, I make the most money off of Facebook. So by him deleting my Facebook is in turn taking food out of his own children's mouth. Like, this is affecting his own kids, and he doesn't care. And here's the thing that I want to share on this, because this is where a lot of you guys were like, Morgan, what do you think? Like, how do you feel? Here's my thing. He is in active addiction right now. He has absolutely zero plans on ending his addiction. He has said multiple times that he plans on continuing to use, in his words, for as long as God will let him. So here's the thing. If that is his choice and that is what he is choosing to do, then he needs to give up his kids. Like, there's no one in the world. Like, I used to work at a rehab. Me and John both did. And I never once had one person walk up to me and say, I don't know why I'm not able to see my kids. Ever. Not once. They all knew why they weren't able to see their kids. They were all there to better themselves so they could see their kids. You know what I'm saying? So when you are in active addiction and you are still getting high actively, you're not in your right frame of mind. So of course to him, it doesn't make sense why the courts and Laura isn't letting him see his children, right? Because he's still actively getting high. You also have to remember that they have a child that is extremely neurodivergent, to the point to where Alfie can't really speak, like at all. He has to be coached to speak. That would be extremely dangerous to send that child with someone who aren't in their right frame of mind and who are actively high. And Stephen can say whatever he wants about how he feels he is when he's high. He doesn't know. He's actively high. And I had a couple of people comment on my TikToks and say, oh, well, I would love to know what John talking about my fiance, I would love to know where he stands on this. I can promise you he stands in the same place I would. There is no person in their right mind, in recovery or not, that would say someone actively high is in their right frame of mind and is in an okay place to take care of any child, especially a child who cannot speak correctly. A child who is so neurodivergent and on the spectrum in such a way that they have to be kind of coached in what to say. Do you know how dangerous that fucking is? Like, I highly doubt that I need John to get on my platform and say, yeah, he doesn't need to see his kids. Like, anyone with a brain, I think, can agree with that sentiment. I'm just kind of going back and forth with brushes, you guys, to kind of make it a little bit more airbrushed before I set my face. I'm going to set my face with my, I think I'm going to do Huda Beauty Pound Cake tonight, because it's been a minute since I've used this. I've been using my Laura Mercier, and I just feel like we need it, you know? I'm just going to go back in and make sure that we're not setting any wrinkles. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, my true hope is that Steven does get help. He needs to go to like long-term treatment though. That's the thing. He needs to go to long-term treatment. All of these people on the internet saying, oh, he would be fine with, 60 days. No, he needs to go to long-term treatment. That's the problem, is that every other time he only goes to like outpatient, and he only stays for like just a little bit of time. No, he needs to go for a long period of time. He needs to get off the internet as well. Like, that's also crazy to me, is that he is continuing to post on the internet, and he's continuing to post as if Laura is in the wrong. It's just so weird to me. Like, I don't agree with everything Laura Clary says, especially in the political sense at all. But at the same time, the truth is the truth. And what makes sense is what makes sense. And when it comes to kids, I think we all just need to be a little smarter when it comes to the children. Because they're innocent. They basically have no say. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have any say in the matter. And so I think when we're talking children, we just need to be a little bit more protective of them. We just need to protect them. Probably going to put a little bit of mascara. I'm going to let this set for just a minute. And one topic that I have pretty much steered away from since it happened, I'm going to talk about. And I'm gonna light a cigarette because it makes me nervous. I'm going to talk about Emily. Now, if you don't know what Emily I'm talking about, then this conversation just isn't meant for you. But there is a creator who lost her son a few months ago. And I've heard all kinds of things going in with Laura Mercier translucent on my neck. I've heard, oh, it should be her fault. They should have had a guard around the pool. Now I wanna say one thing when it comes to Arizona laws, okay? They do not have to have a pool guard. They don't. That's Florida. A lot of people are getting Arizona laws confused with Florida laws. They do not have to have any type of guard or net around the pool. This is a accident, you guys. And also, we need to remember, like, so many firefighters have shared on social media about how long it takes for a child to lose their life by falling into a pool. And I'm not going to say the child's name, but he was underwater. The firefighters have said that this child could have fallen in the water and been in there for 10 seconds. Count that. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That child could already be asphyxiated. 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, that child is in brain damage. 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, that child may have no pulse. So I'm not one of the people who are going to go and try to look at this child's medical examination report. That's the main reason I want to talk about this, is that now this mother feels the need that she has to go to court because there are people on the internet who have paid to see this child's medical examination report. I could not imagine, number one, being a mother who's lost a child. I couldn't imagine that. But number two, being a mother that's lost a child that still has children here that she has to, be a mother to. She, there is no off days for a mommy, right? Not only that, but she's also got to explain to everyone in her family, her friends, all of these people she's got to have these conversations with. And in the meantime, she's having to go to Maricopa County Medical Examinations Office and get the names of all these people who is trying to get her minor child's death investigation information so that she can sue them. And people are like, oh, well, that's saying a lot, when it comes to her for even, filing these reports and doing these things. I would do the same fucking thing. You have a freak accident happen with your child that happens in seconds. And you have all these people on the internet that are sharing their opinions. And then you have one of her best friends. You have multiple of her friends go off the internet and go black, which I would do too. A lot of social media influencers, when their friends go through things. I had one of my very close friends who is a small influencer on the internet. She's the same size as myself. She lost one of her twins about 5 years ago, and you guys know I went black for 30 days. I went completely black on the internet. I didn't come back and share any of that information. I didn't come back and say why I've been gone. I just came back and started posting it as normal. You all should not expect Avery to come back and say anything. And then when Avery does come back, you all criticize her for having on a necklace with this child's name. It's just like the audacity of people. Like the fucking audacity. You guys think that these people are like movie stars and that they're characters. They're not characters. They're actual real life people. And they go through real life shit. And this just happens to be one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing, a parent can ever go through. Ever. And the fact that Avery is back on the internet and these other people have now come back to the internet, except for Emily, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. They went black on the internet. Avery was there for her friend. I had another friend of mine share some stuff with me that lives in that area and told me that Avery was there every single fucking day. And I believe it wholeheartedly. 100%. I believe that. By the way, this is that dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury bronze, luminous bronzing. I know somebody's going to ask. But I just think, you know, we should just give Emily her space. We should let these other influencers that are friends of hers come back and do their job and be there for their friend when they need to be and when Emily needs them. That's what's important. And we also need to understand that Emily may never come back. And that's just something that we, you know, need to remember how fantastic she was when she was here and what she did for the internet during her time on the internet. And realize that what she's going through is something that most of us can't fathom. And those of us who have been through something like it, I've seen in her comments, I've seen talking to her. And I think maybe you should take the time to read what they have to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, taking all this time to be nasty and gross and leave some of the most hateful shit I've ever seen put on the internet is just something that I will quite literally never understand. Like, I can't understand where you're coming from by leaving something nasty on someone's page because they're now back on the internet and their friend is going through something. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We also have to remember that a lot of these people have contractual obligation. Here's another thing I want to say. You guys know that when I first started, I worked with a lot of companies. I've worked with Duval. I've worked with Pretty Little Thing. I've worked with Fashion Nova. The list goes on. And L'Oreal, like, you guys know, when I first started, I worked with anybody who would let me. And the problem with that is that you get in these contracts and they want you to post a certain thing and say a certain thing. Now, I'm in this, how can I say this? There's only one company I just mentioned that wanted me to say things a certain way. And that is the reason why I am very shied off by doing that. Because, you know, when you first start in this, you kind of, not that you don't read what things say, but you're just so excited, right? To get to work with such a huge company that you've known, you know, since you were a kid. You're just so excited. And then, and all this is alleged entertainment purposes, whatever. And then you're told, oh, well, I need you to say this. In your video, you said that, and I need you to say this. And then I go back and I say, well, that's not the experience I had. And in my video, my followers are clearly going to see that that did not happen. Like, they're going to see the video exactly the way that I film it. Like, I'm not editing out and redoing my experience with the product. And so they asked that I refilm it. And I said, how long do you want me to have it up? They said at least 7 days. So I posted it and I deleted it in 7 days. And then I came on here and I told you guys, you know, that I don't stand behind the video that I uploaded on such and such date. For those of you guys who know. For those of you guys who don't. But there was a brand that I worked with who was very conniving, and their mascara did not do what they said it was going to do, which we now know eliminates Pretty Little Thing. But there were multiple brands that I worked with, so, you know, it could have been any one of them. I worked with, you know, I Method Beauty, which was fantastic. But what, bottom of the line, what matters here is that some of these brands have you in contracts, okay? And regardless of, now I do think that Emily has been able to work with the brands that she was signed up to work with just because she's not had to post anything. And I'm sure she was under contractual obligation for the past, you know, few months since things happened. But with like Avery and the people surrounding her, it's not directly their situation that's happened. And that's the way brands, unfortunately, are going to look at it. they're going to look at it as it's not their situation. It didn't happen directly to them. So they are still going to be contractually obligated to do their sponsorships. Now, while a lot of times your sponsorships might be pre-recorded, you know, sometimes they're not. Sometimes there's something that, you know, that you film on the spot, or, you know, whatever the case. And so you have to come back to the internet, and you have to film those videos. It's just something that has to happen. And I get it. I know a lot of people had things to say about Avery coming back when she did, and having, you know, T's a necklace on with T's name and so on and so forth. But I just want you guys to know that most likely that wasn't something that she decided on her own. Most likely that was something that either the brand required that the video still be submitted in, or that was when, you know, she decided to come back to the internet, and that was when she decided to upload the video. So just keep that in mind. We don't always know everything that's going on, but just know sometimes there are brands that are like, no, this didn't, you know, directly impact you, so I'm going to need you to still upload your video by this date, and I'm going to need you. And also keep in mind, most brands, not all, but most brands do want you to submit for approval. You know, like submit the video so that we can see what you have to say about our brand before you post it, which is not all companies, but I would say like 99% that I've worked with anyways. I think the only brand that was like, no, we trust you was Pretty Little Thing, which I love them. I will always love them. They weren't the first brand that worked with me, but they were one of the first, and so for them, I will always be thankful. You guys know I still obviously love their shit. I'm wearing it right now, but like, they will just always hold a place in my heart because they were just so about me from day one. They just knew that, you know, and they still to this day, they're still very much about your girl, and I just love that. I love me some Pretty Little Thing and Duval and Fashion Nova. Thank you guys so much for just being so kind to your girl when I was so scared of posting on the internet. I was like, oh no, I don't know what my followers are going to think about me, you know, working with a brand. But truth is, you guys were so great, and you know, you guys trust me because I don't work with a lot of brands. So I make sure now that I've been in the game a minute that I'm like, listen, you know, I don't work with a lot of people, so, you know, y'all are going to need to be straight up with me and send me the product, and I'm going to test it for a month, and then I'll let my followers know if it's something that they should go and, you know, spend their coin on. By the way, this blush that I just used, I know I'm going to get 1,000 questions. I used it on TikTok the other night, and people are like, holy shit, what blush is that? I'm going to be honest with you guys, this whole palette is worth just the blushes. They're so beautiful, but the shadows and the glitters are 10 out of 10. I can't remember exactly how much this palette was. This is another brand that worked with me early on. They are on TikTok, QING Beauty official _. So this is their socials. They sponsored me on Instagram and YouTube originally, but you open it up and you get 4 pages of products. So you get 3 eyeshadows, there's mattes, there's shimmer shades, and glitters in almost every single color. And then here in the middle, you get some bronzers, highlights, and blushes. The highlight, or the bronzers and blushes, are some of the best that I've ever used. I would compare the bronzer to Laguna, and then the blushes, there's none like it. I'm going to be honest with you. Their blush formula is incredible. Honest to goodness, it stays all day. It does not disappear. It's so good. The highlights are it for me. And to be honest, let me just do a swatch Like, it's just very powdery for me. I mean, it's pretty, but it's very chalky for me. But yeah, the blushes, the bronzer, the matte shadows, and the glitters, and it's so good. I can't remember how much they quoted it. You can probably still use Morgan Shea for money off. I can't remember if I still have a coupon code or not. Probably not, because it's been 100 years since I've worked with them. Not really. It was 2022. So it's been 3 years since I worked with them. So I probably don't have a code anymore. I think my only active code still is probably with, probably just Fashion Nova. I don't know that though either. Maybe not. It's been so long because I took so long off the internet. So I probably actually need to reach out to those brands. Yeah, here's where we are. We're going to go ahead and do our lower lash line. I love these blushes. They're so fucking pretty, you guys, and they do not fade at all. Alright, let's go ahead and do our lower lash line. I am just going to, let's see, let's use a little bit of Perversion. Or no, let's use this one. This is, oh my gosh, I've been loving this, you guys. This is another one you guys recommended to me over NYX. This is the Wet n Wild Multi-Stick, which you guys know I love the green one. I've been using this one for, gosh, I don't even know how long. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Multi-Stick in the shade Green on Me. I love it because it opens my eyes. This is in the shade Bragging Whites. Love that. I'm just going to take it on the side of my hand and warm it up. Look at that. It's insane. And we're just going to start putting this in the waterline. So pigmented. It reminds me so much of my NYX Jumbo Pencil. And so a bunch of you guys were like, no, Morgan, you really need to try the Wet n Wild one. And so I was like, okay, let's just do a whole new drugstore haul and try it out and see. Now, I did order the Tier foundation. I'm going to do a full review of that for you guys. Because I have to say, out of all of the stuff that you guys recommended, you guys really want to know if that foundation is worth the coin. Now, I will say, it's on sale right now. So, it's on sale for, I can't remember. I want to say I paid like $14.99 or $12.99 or something like that. So, I'll keep you guys posted on it. I'm going to go in with E2, which is that deepening shade that I used on the outer edge, and I may mix it with that Juvia's Place shade. So pretty. With that white, it's so gorgeous. Yeah, tonight we're doing a story time, you guys, and this is about, you know, I cannot even believe that this happened. It's unreal. That I even knew someone who robbed a bank, but I did. And we're going to be telling a story of that. And I'm going in with the shade Ada, which is out of that Juvia's Place Mini Masquerade. It's just a little bit warmer. And then I'm going to take a smaller blender. This is from the Morphe Gilded collection. And I'm going to go back into that ABH Norvina, the orange palette. Oh no, I gotta fix that. That was my nail, you guys heard. And I'm going to go in, if I can get this opened, with the shade B5. It's just more of like a translucent, not translucent, a really, really good transition shade for me. Boom. Alright, let's glue this nail back on really quickly. I will give you guys an update on this LA Girl mascara in Perfect Curve. I don't like it. It's way too watery. I think that LA Girl has a lot of really, really good products. I'm just going to say right now, I don't think mascara is their strongest suit. I will say that. Let's get this now. No. I knew that I didn't put enough nail glue on that one. It's okay. Yeah, here we go. Good and straight. Love these nails. By the way, if you're curious about the nails that I use, if you go back to the beginning of this live, I talk about the nails in the beginning. The lashes are, I think they're called Winky Lashes. They are from TikTok Shop. If you go to Lindy Hall's, Lynde Hall's TikTok, she's the one dating Tate Sweat, I'm not sure. It's the same one she uses. And we're just gonna, there we go. Perfect. But I am excited about this YouTube video because it's one that I've been holding for so long. And mainly because the person that I was friends with, that this mainly involved, she was still in active addiction, and unfortunately she has now passed away. And so I am going to share the story of how I became a bank robber's godmothered her child. I still don't know how I'm going to like name or title this video. It's so out of pocket, but we'll figure it out, bitch. We always do. We'll figure it out. All right, we need to do some inner corner highlight. I'm going to use the Michaela, the purple highlight. It doesn't have a name or anything, but this highlight is so beautiful. It's like a really pretty, like, champagne. So we're going to do this on the inner corner. Oh, so good. And just a wee bit right here. Just right there. And then I'll keep this to the side. I'm going to take that blending brush that I used and just hit the edges. Alright, now we need to do highlight. I'm going to use the MAC. Oh, should we switch it up? Let's switch it up. We talked about Artist Couture Summer Haze, so let's use her tonight. These are so good. If you haven't tried the Artist Couture highlights, I highly recommend. By the way, for those of you guys who, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Brow Freeze. For those of you guys who are like, Morgan, we want another true crime video. They're every other week. So you guys will get one next, not this coming Tuesday, but the next. So every other Tuesday is a true crime. And every other Tuesday, well, I mean, every Saturday you guys get a live video, unless it is the video that I'm filming that week is like my go-to makeup routine, which I doubt you guys are going to want because you guys pretty much all join the lives. By the way, if you would like to support the channel, I would highly appreciate it. My stuff I will put in, or if my moderators would like to, my Venmo is Morgan Chesney 89, spelled just like it sounds. I would really appreciate any support. Look at that. Holy shit. And we're just going to be very strong-handed. You guys know how we do highlight in this house. We go in, and then I will show you guys how to kind of blend it. Ooh, love it. Alright, that is the shade Summer Haze by Artist Couture. If you haven't, again, if you have not tried Artist Couture's highlights, highly recommend. They're like a loose powder, but I love them. I'm going to go back in with some more spray. And then I'm just going to take my sponge on the side and just press that into the skin. Do you see the difference that makes by just pressing it into the skin? You're welcome. And then I'm just going to take that Glam Light Michaela palette. I'm just going to put it where the light hits and then warm with my finger. Sorry if you guys hear fireworks. Love it. Oh, they are setting the fireworks off, honey. Come here, Millie Millie. You want to show everybody how much you grew? Come here, Millie Millie. Let's see Mama. Hi. Look how big she's gotten, everybody. Say hello. Her eyes have gotten like it's hazel, honestly. So we found my sister, but she won't come to us, huh? Oh, the purse. Don't show your asshole. So go to onlykitties.com. onlykittyfans.com. Don't show the asshole for free, bitch. There you go. She's dying to show. What is that? Oh, hell no, bitch. Hell no. Uno momento. Let's take that shit off. Mini. There we go. We'll just put some new ones on. No, you're not. No. No. Alright, so we're going to do some more lashes on this inner corner. And then I'll probably do some more white liner. By the way, I've been rewatching Bridgerton for the 6,000th time because these bitches are just taking too long to come back. By the way, I have a new liner that is a dupe for, why did I forget it again? I did this the last time I talked about it. No! Shit. Boldly Bear. It is a dupe for MAC Boldly Bear lip pencil, and it is in the shade, it's by Elf, and it is in the shade Spill the Tea. It looks just like Boldly Bear by MAC. Perfection. Alright, let's do these lashes really quickly. These are by off of the TikTok shop, and I have some new ones coming because I'm out of 18s and I'm on my last roll of 16s. And I do a 10 on the inner corner. I'll just let these dry a little bit. There we go. Alright, now let's go ahead and do our lip liner. This is so creamy, by the way. Yeah, I've been re-watching Bridgerton because I miss it. Like, I'm so pissed that it's going to be 2026 before we even get another episode of Bridgerton. What the fuck is that? It's just so annoying. Like, really. So incredibly annoying. Okay, so pretty. Let's get a little bit of our Bragging Whites mascara, Sky High mascara by Maybelline. So what is everybody's plans tonight? What is the move? I am filming, and then most likely it sounds like our neighbor is going to be doing more fireworks. So probably be going to watch some more fireworks. Well, not going to, just like literally going outside. Alright, I'm going to take just a little bit more of my, where'd it go? My seal. Now that my bond is secure, I'm just going to put this on those two lash extensions that I just replaced. Perfection. Then I need to do lipstick. I'm going to, where is my, here it is. Mannequin by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. And then just take a brush. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of Myth by MAC. Same brush. And then my favorite gloss, it is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Big Lip Plump Gasm. And then last but certainly not least is my Beauty Marks. And I use the Lime Crime. This is called the Venus Liner in the shade Fawn. It matches my Beauty Marks perfectly. And I'm just going to put them where my actual Beauty Marks are. Just like that. Close that off. Alright, spray my face and we are done. And it's time to film. Alright, you guys, all I have to do now is go do my hair, throw a shirt on, and get to filming. Make sure you tune in on Tuesday to hear the story time of how I was friends and knew someone and they were a bank robber all at the same time. It's crazy. You guys are gonna freak. You guys are gonna freak the fuck out. If you would like to support the channel, make sure that you Venmo me at Morgan Chesney 89. I love you guys so much, and until the very next time. Bye, bitch.